What's up everyone, Jack, Black Bear Crypto. Today we're going to be building a relay node in the Cardano testnet and then attempting to mint tokens off that relay into a testnet Daedalus wallet. Now, I don't know exactly how far we're going to get today. This may become a two-part stream. Also, while I've built multiple relay nodes and minted tokens on the mainnet, I've never used the Cardano testnet before, so there may be a little troubleshooting to do, so please be patient with me. There also may be times where I pull the terminal off screen for security reasons. Not a huge deal. We have DDoS mitigation in place, but I'd rather not tempt anybody. And with that being said, let's jump right into it. We have a fresh install of Ubuntu LTS with our guides up. Links in the description box below to all of that. Let's start with the CoinCashew guide to start building our relay node here. So the first step, we just got to copy these. In order to create a terminal, we got to go Control-Alt-T. And then just paste these commands into the command line. This one can take a little while. While we're waiting for some of these, let's take a look at the roadmap of Cardano. I was looking at this the other day. It's really cool. Right now we're on Goguen, the smart contracts. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Byron was when we just launched, or not we, but the Cardano Foundation initially launched the blockchain. Shelly is when stake pools were launched. I know that was in July of 2020, which instantly made Cardano the most decentralized blockchain in crypto. This upgrade, the Goguen, that allowed, created smart contract capacity on chain. Looks like our command's done. Let's jump right back into that. Punch in the next one. I always forget what my last command was. Let's see. Here's the upgrade command. So next one in there. I think this one's pretty quick. Here we go. Livesteam. This one takes a little while. Also, if you guys are wondering what music I'm using, it's from Carl Casey at Whiteboard Audio. It's a non-copyright mix. It's actually where I got my intro song for Black Bear Crypto. I forget what song it is. I think it's up here somewhere. It might be Glitch in Reality. I can't remember. Let's see. Is this it? No, I don't think so. Oh, yeah, it is this. Cool. The full song's pretty good. You guys should go check this guy out. He makes really good like synthwave music. Okay. Looks like this command's done with the Livesteam. Now we need to install Cabal. Now I know this next command takes quite a while, so we may be waiting around for a little bit here. Let's see, did this go through? Okay, it did. It's fine. Can't remember if, yeah, here we go. We gotta press enter, prepend, no to the Haskell server language, no to the stack, and then this will just take a while to process. Let's go back to the roadmap here. So Goguen was smart contracts and DApp capacity, so people would be able to start developing more, press enter here. Developing more complex projects on chain, which definitely helps the further development of the Cardano blockchain. The only problem that we're having right now, while the network is decentralized for the most part, I think it's like a 70, actually let's take a look at that, of the spread for stake pool operators. 88pools.org. I know where I can find it by going to the Binance pool. So the network is pretty decentralized outside of Binance. We see single pool operators like myself make up 17%. The next biggest group is the Binance group, which controls 12% of the active stake on the blockchain. So that's quite a bit of stake that they are controlling. But for the most part, it's pretty decentralized. The blockchain still kind of has the notoriety of being the most decentralized blockchain in crypto. Let me actually find a credible source saying that. Cardano becomes the most decentralized. Yeah, this was all around when the Shelly update took place. All right, let's go back here. So back to what I was saying. I was saying a bunch of stuff. So Cardano being the most decentralized blockchain in crypto, I think that's pretty much a given right now. I don't think that's disputed in the community or in the crypto space right now. The problem that we're having right now is congestion, which I think the Basho update with the scaling will help. I don't know exactly when Basho is set to take place. Looks like we got to go back here. Keep working along. So if you guys are thinking about setting up a stake pool or setting up a Cardano node and minting NFTs, this terminal may look a little bit like intense. You may think it's too complicated or you can't figure it out, but really what I'm doing here is just copy pasting and then troubleshooting when a problem comes up. It's a lot faster for me now than when I initially started. I was running into problem after problem, but with persistence and enough time, I'm confident that pretty much anybody can create one of these things. Let me see here. Do we have all the correct versions? Looks like we do. 3.4, 3.4. Okay, so now CoinCashew is telling us exactly how we can do this on the testnet. Just any command that says mainnet on it, which is what's defaulted into the guide, we want to replace it with testnet magic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new window here on like a text file and just throw that in there because I'm going to be copy pasting that in a lot of the commands that we're going to be using today. Okay, so now I need to build the node from the source code. I got to really watch out and make sure I don't mess up any of those mainnet commands. I keep getting paranoid that I'm punching in something slightly wrong. Oh, I did. Okay. That's not how it should be done. I should have pressed return there. Whatever, we'll fix it in a minute. But back to Binance here. So Binance controls too much of the active stake, but it's not a security issue at this point. If it grows, then that will become a serious problem. Okay, you're in dedicated head. You can look around. I think that's fine, but let's just go through the commands again just to make sure that we didn't mess anything up. Let me check our versions real quick. Oh, is chat not enabled? Oh, that's a bummer. Here, let me see if I can fix that real quick. I'm going to do this off screen. Let's see if I can enable live stream chats. Maybe I need to be YouTube partner before that happens, but let's take a look. Playlist, customization. Why? I did not set this as made for kids. Okay, that's why the chat's not open. Here we go. Okay. So now I think we should be able to chat in the stream. Let me know if that worked. I'm going to check too. Maybe because it's midstream it won't work. Whatever, we'll just keep chugging along. We'll fix it next time. Maybe we'll just update as time goes on. Okay, so everything's fine with that. Let's just do the build the node from the source code again. It shouldn't take as long this time because we already downloaded everything. Trying to get those chats enabled. It's working now. Okay, I'm starting to see the chats coming through. Great. All right, so this was successful. Let's go on to the next command here. So I got to tell you guys something a little bit embarrassing. When I was first starting to build these nodes, I was copying everything line by line, like copy pasting, and then I'd go Control. I don't even remember the command now. I did it so many times. It was like Control Alt VJ, and that would like tab a line down. So I type all these in manually, not knowing that I could copy. I tried copying it, but it was like messing things up. So I was like, I'm just gonna do it manually. But now that I kind of know my way around the terminal, I just copy paste everything. It's a lot faster. So this Cabal build takes a while, if I remember correctly. Let's go back to the roadmap here. So I don't know exactly when Basho is going to come out. Let me see. Just says 2022. Doesn't give an exact month. But that should help some of the congestion issues. Like I was trying to mint tokens the other day, and like transactions were taking like 20, 30 minutes to get through. It was really, really long time. I'm sure that some of that will be fixed moving forward, though, with this scaling upgrade. The devs are aware of the issue, and I mean, I think they expected it because this is part of the roadmap, is the scaling part of it. I don't know exactly what they have planned for governance, but we'll take a look at that in a moment. Okay, so GHC is installed. After searching for the rest of the dependency, these goals I've had trouble fulfilling. Could not resolve dependencies. That's really weird. I've never seen that before. That's not good. I don't think we can move forward without that, actually. Yeah, it shouldn't be that way. Let's try the command again. If it doesn't work, then yeah, it didn't work. So you know what? We're just gonna start from scratch. That's what you gotta do sometimes. See, I told you guys there'd be issues. Even though I've done this 6 times already, there's always something new that I run into. And you just gotta have patience and just keep plugging along. Try to figure out how to troubleshoot the issue that you're having. Go. So we don't have a date for Basho yet, but it'll be coming along hopefully this year. Fix some of these congestion issues that we're having. Sure all versions are right. Everything's correct there. Build the node from the source code. This is the one that we get stuck on last time. Let's hope that we did everything correctly this time. Come on, resolve those dependencies. The fact that it hasn't created an error message just yet makes me optimistic. Okay, so let's look at Voltaire here and see what they have planned for us. Voltaire era of Cardano will provide the final pieces required for the Cardano network to become a self-sustaining system. With the introduction of a voting and treasury system, doesn't that already exist? Don't we already have a treasury, or are they not? I think they have the treasury where they're taking a small percentage of each block reward and putting it away, but they haven't actually started to allow voting on that. But no, there's still the CIP votes, like the Cardano improvement proposals that are happening right now. So I don't really know. They must have something else planned that I don't understand, but be able to use their stake and their stake and voting rights to influence the future development of the network. For the Cardano network to become truly decentralized, it will require not only the distributed infrastructure introduced during the Shelly era, but also the capacity to be maintained and improved over time in a decentralized way. That's very important, and that's something that when I was making my video about Ravencoin the other day that I was sort of harping on. Like, the Ravencoin Foundation doesn't have any capital. They didn't take any cold coins in themselves at launch, and they don't take a percentage of the block reward like the Cardano blockchain does. And that's good in some ways, but it completely leaves it up to the community to drive forward this development. And with Cardano, they're not just leaving it up to the hands of the community, because that kind of creates a survival of the fittest mentality. They're trying to incentivize good behavior on chain by creating this treasury through foundations like IOHK and their SPO delegation system, which I'll talk about that. IOHK delegation, new round. I'll just show you exactly what I'm talking about here. So IOHK, they delegate it's like 3 to 15 million Cardano. Yeah, here it is. So to date, around 200 pools have received the input-output global delegation of 3 million Cardano each. I believe that's a quarterly reward. I'm not sure if that's a permanent delegation reward. I believe every 3 months they choose a new pool to delegate to. I don't think they're just like continually putting more and more money in, but I could be wrong about that. So they're trying to look for stake pools that are contributing positively to the Cardano ecosystem through like building, like providing tools, open sourcing code, helping other community members with development projects or setting up stake pools, creating high quality written content, creative artwork, educational content like guides. So that's all sort of things that that I'm trying to do with our stake pool, MBX stake pool. Is trying to create some more like educational content and try to use YouTube and our website in a way to like create a library of guides and educational content for people to reference in the future. So again, sort of that financial incentive to push forward good behavior on chain and incentivize development and community contributions, which I think is really important to the future of a blockchain. As I said, it does take a while to resolve those dependencies, but I don't think that we're having issues here, because it usually takes this long, and before it was just like spitting out an error message right away. Okay, so back to Voltaire. Just a sip of coffee here. So will not only require the distributed infrastructure introduced during the Shelly era. So if you didn't know, and we were just talking about in the Shelly era, it introduced stake pools, which like instantly decentralized the blockchain. like all these nodes started popping up all over the world. There were independent stake pools, the single pool alliance. That's another thing. Let me show you that. So if you're looking for a way or a stake pool to delegate your Cardano to, I would highly recommend that you check out this list first and decide which one of these works best for you. As you can see, our stake pool is on that list. The reason that you'd want to choose a stake pool from this list is because these are pools that are committed to not operating more than one stake pool, as opposed to like Binance, who has like all these stake pools, like full saturation, which hurts the decentralization of the chain. So supporting a single pool operator is the best option if you believe in Cardano long term, because we're doing things to keep the network decentralized. Okay, it looks like what was it? What was I building? The Cabal. Okay, it's building Cabal successfully. So we fixed that issue, and now this is another long one. This is the second longest one to actually build the node, so this will take a while. Let's take a look here. I'm looking at my stake pool. Let's talk a little bit about how to like decide on a stake pool, just kind of referencing ours. So you want to look, like, the first thing that I look at when evaluating a stake pool is the margin and fixed cost, to see if like what they are at. Like if the margin is at like 50% or like 99%, that might be kind of like a red flag for you, because the stake pool is taking all the rewards. What's up, Red Llama? Thanks for coming on, man. And let me see here. And then the fixed cost, 340 is the lowest that you can currently set your fixed cost right now. So every block reward on Cardano is about 1,080 a piece. So the treasury takes a small percentage of that, but also the fixed cost here takes 340 out of the initial block reward during that epoch. So if a pool is minting several blocks in epoch, it only takes that fixed cost out of the first one. The margin is taken out of each one of them. So if there's like, let's say you take 340 out of the fixed cost, out of the 1,000 block reward, the 60 remaining, my pool takes 0% of that remaining reward. But if that margin was 1% or 2%, we'd also take that percentage of the 660 remaining Cardano. Let me see if I can make you a moderator, Red Llama. One second. It's my first time doing this, so don't want to show my login on stream. I'm doing this all off OBS. I know YouTube has kind of like an internal one that they allow. Perfect. Okay, I think I just made you mod, so that's good. What else is there to talk about? I guess at this time I should probably start downloading this Daedalus wallet. So again, this is in the description box below if you're trying this yourself. We're on Linux, so we're going to download the Linux version. And I'm just taking a gander over the guide. I've used this before, but this is how you mint tokens on the blockchain off a relay node. So the advantage of creating your own relay node to mint your own tokens is that when you use like a third-party resource, like if you just Google mint Cardano tokens, you'll get these. Well, there's a development one, but there's like Cardano native token is one that I've tested with, and some of these minting programs, I mean, it's just people basically running their own relay nodes, and then they take a cut of whatever token that you're producing. So if you create 1 million tokens, they might take 1,000 tokens out of that. Also, they would make you send like 7 Cardano when it really only costs like 3 Cardano to mint your own token. So just keep that in mind. These like token minting systems, it can be really easy, but doing it yourself, I think, is the most advantageous if you're planning on doing this repeatedly, like creating series of NFTs or like minting a token that you're going to manage. Also, you get these files, these keys. You get like a key pair when you mint the tokens off your own relay, and that gives you complete control over what you can do with your tokens. You can perform all these actions like burning your tokens, reissuing them, changing the metadata. So it's really important in my mind that you're able to have complete control over the token that you're minting rather than leaving it up to some third party to control. So back to Voltaire. To fund the future development of the network, Voltaire will also see the addition of a treasury system whereby a fraction of all transaction fees will be pooled to provide funds for development activities undertaken following the voting process. See, it says a fraction of all transaction fees will be pooled. So isn't that pool already taking place? I could be wrong, but I almost was positive that they were already taking a percentage of the block reward, but... Oh my god, I hope I don't drop this camera. It was expensive. Let's see. When voting on a treasury system in place, Cardano will be truly decentralized and no longer under IOHK's management. That's pretty cool. And that's sort of a similar concept to what we're trying to do with our stake pool, is build this token and this like governance DAO structure that will leave it the governance or any changes to the pool's infrastructure completely up to the delegate or the people who are investing in the project, rather than it being up to me or my partners to figure out what we want to do with changes to the fixed cost, the margin, if we want to add additional relay nodes, that sort of thing. Users will be able to vote on those changes rather than us just kind of doing it for everybody else. So that's sort of similar to what Cardano is trying to do with their Voltaire governance structure, it seems. Is right now it's in the hands of IOHK, the entire network, but eventually they want to just give control of that network to the people who are invested in Cardano, which I think is a really, really cool concept, and will make it basically a completely autonomous structure. So in my mind, Cardano's got some really big growth factors right now. Let's take a look at its chart. CoinMarketCap. It's my favorite site for reviewing the price and the trends of any blockchain. So fully diluted is 51, the market cap's 38 billion. So something that I harp on this channel all the time is market cap versus fully diluted. And in my mind, this isn't a disproportionate market cap. Like, let's look at Hex CoinMarketCap. That's 36 billion, and their fully diluted is 132. That's pretty bad too. Let's look at Vera here. So they have a $5 million market cap, 136 million fully diluted. So in comparison to those, Cardano's market cap really isn't that disproportionate at all, especially when you keep in mind that with the cold coins that they are collecting or that they have collected, they're using those to drive forward community innovation. It's not like all the development teams being super greedy and keeping all those tokens, which I've seen with a lot of other blockchains. They're using those tokens for the good of their network to encourage decentralization, to encourage good behavior, to encourage blockchain development or like projects on chain that could lead to like smart contracts, dApps. They're using these funds to encourage all of that. So they're not just like behind the scenes keeping it all. And I think that's really important in a blockchain, like when you're evaluating any growth potential that a blockchain has, to make sure that the developers are using their funds for good purposes. Another example is like crypto.com. They use their cold coins. Let's take a look at them. So they have a higher fully diluted than their regular market cap. But the thing about what Crypto.com is doing is that they offer cashback debit cards. So you might be able to get 1, 2, 3, 4%, up to 8% cash back on certain purchases using your Crypto.com debit card, and they're paying you out in CRO token. So they're using those cold coins to like reinvest back into their project. It's not like they're just keeping those cold coins and are like waiting to dump them at a certain point. What's up, Serge? Thanks for joining, man. I'm gonna go get some more coffee while this stuff is going, so I'll be right back, guys. Oh, thanks, Red Llama. I had myself muted. So, as I was, what I was saying before is that it's really important for me when initially evaluating a blockchain and like looking at market cap in context of fully diluted, is to look at what the development team is doing with their cold storage and can I participate in the inflationary mechanism of that coin. So if the answer is no, if I can't participate in the inflation, then I instantly become skeptical of that chain. Versus, like, if you look at Ravencoin, they took no cold storage, but I can participate in the inflation of. Thanks, Serge. It's let me show you exactly who this guy is. It's White Bat Audio, this synth wave mix. It's really good. It's actually what I use for my intro music. This Glitch in Reality one is what I use for the Black Bear Crypto intro. So back to what I was saying. It's important for me to look at what the development team is doing. Can I participate in the inflation of that chain? If the answer is no, what's that cold storage for? In the case of Ravencoin, I can participate in the inflation of that chain through crypto mining. With Crypto.com, I can take part in the inflation of that chain through staking and getting a Crypto.com debit card that I can get cash back on. With Cardano, I can participate in the inflation through delegating or by running my own stake pool. With Ethereum, it's the same way, where I can participate in the inflation either through crypto mining or I can run an Ethereum validator. So it's important to take those things into account when evaluating market cap versus fully diluted, in my opinion. You guys can hear me now, right? I hope so. What's up, Bible Evolved? If any of you guys like survival games, Bible Evolved is an upcoming channel playing Vampire Survivors, which is a pretty cool, like, two-dimensional survival game in development currently. So they're constantly coming out with, like, new maps, new features, new characters. It's a really neat game. Do I have 900 subscribers now? I'm close. Let's see. 899, guys. We're getting close. I didn't cut off the music, did I? I did cut off the music. Oops. Just let me know if you guys still can't hear me. Okay, great. Here, I'm going to make you a mod, Bible. If I can. Are you saying I'm not live? Yeah, this is my first live stream. It's kind of fun. It's talking about some stuff. Okay. Maybe my computer's kind of maxed out on RAM right now because I'm having trouble navigating the browser window. Yeah, I need to throw, I have another 16 gigabytes of RAM to throw into this PC. The Corsair Vengeance, 3600 megahertz. If you're looking at RAM, make sure to take a look at what the megahertz rating of that RAM is. The higher, the better. 4000 megahertz is really expensive and it's kind of not worth it. But when comparing like 3200 megahertz versus 3600 megahertz, I would opt for the 3600 megahertz every single time. You guys should check out what I have going on with my PC here. So while we wait, don't judge my cable management. I'm getting a new desk very soon here, but so this is my primary Windows drive. It's 1 terabyte SSD. Then I have this 120 gigabyte, what is it, Inland Professional SSD that I use for mainnet and minting tokens off of. So I have a relay node on there that I don't run constantly. I just boot it up whenever I need to mint tokens or like manipulate the token. No, not manipulate, but like burn any or reissue some, that sort of thing, whenever I need to manage it. And then I have a new 120 gigabyte SSD that I'm running this Ubuntu LTS instance off of. Thanks. Yeah, it's got a, what is it? It's an i9. I can't even remember. It's a 10700 KF, 8-core, 16 threads, boosts up to 5.1 or 5.2 gigahertz. I can't remember, but it's really high. I'm an Intel guy. I know a lot of you out there really love AMD, but I don't really see why. I think that Intel's a better bang for your buck, and I've never had any trouble with Intel processors. I guess that's what I started off of. Like if you started off of AMD, I probably would have like just be used to and comfortable with AMDs, like installing the heatsink and that type of stuff. But for me, Intel all the way. And the cable management back here isn't great either because I had to put a fan hub in there for one fan. My my motherboard was one fan hub short from being able to support every fan in this PC, and it had to get a dedicated fan hub just to plug my front my front PC fan into. What were we talking about before, though? I think I was trying to download the Daedalus wallet, but it like wasn't letting me. Here, let's try it again. Did we download it? Yeah, Daedalus is downloaded. What the hell is this? This is weird. Do I just copy paste this into the terminal or something? Like, what is this? This is what downloaded from Daedalus. It's so weird. I think I probably do just copy paste into the terminal. In fact, I should probably keep loading that. There it is. Okay, it's got to do this, and I think these figure themselves out as this loads, maybe, and then I just copy paste this whole package into the terminal. We'll see. I honestly have no idea. We'll have to figure that out. All right, what else should we look up? Just go through some stake pools here. So this is one that's like pretty high performance, GOAT stake pool. But the thing is, they're running multiple pools. They're not committed to the single pool alliance, which is bad for the blockchain over the long term. So I personally, again, would look for a pool on the singlepoolalliance.net. You can find a high performance pool similar to GOAT or my own stake pool, MBX stake pool, that doesn't run multiple pools because this is bad for the chain. They also have a relatively high margin, the 2.5%. I personally think margin should stay between like 0 and 2%, and all their pools are charging that 2.5% fee. But again, this is bad for the chain. It like causes centralization, and that's something that I never want to do with any blockchain that I'm participating in, is like harm the network that I'm invested in. It doesn't make any sense. It's like shooting yourself in the foot. And to my knowledge, this is the only thing that GOAT does. I don't think they have any like projects that they're working on, like open source code for the chain or to help any other pool operators or anything like that. I don't think they're active participants in the community. If somebody from GoatStake is watching this and wants to correct me on that, send me a message. But this looks pretty cool. This is something that kind of a goal with our pool is to have some more geographical diversity. We have a relay node in Germany right now. I also want to get one on the West Coast. I want to get one out by Singapore or Japan. Possibly South America, because if you have a relay that is close to other block producer nodes, it picks up like once that block producer is done minting their block, that relay node kind of has first dibs at the slot leader check. So having relay nodes close to a node or block producer nodes that are consistently like minting blocks is really important, because you can kind of get first dibs on the next block. Hypothetically. Let's go through a single pool alliance and see. Well, they're almost saturated here, or they are saturated. This is all kind of on the honor system too. Like, you know, I think there may be a pool or two here that says they're part of the SPA, but like is actually running another pool anonymously. I don't know. Let me show you guys this cool tool that we created on our website recently. So you can either click here or here to get to the tool to start staking. And then we have these logos that you can click. It's like an HTML script that we developed that leads you through the process of delegating on whatever platform that you're using. I personally prefer using the Daedalus wallet on my desktop, even though it requires 16 gigabytes of RAM. You need like a decent computer for it. But I really like Daedalus. I think it's super reliable. Yeah, I really enjoy it. You can like create multiple wallets. I really enjoy it. I like that over the browser wallets, but some people like these too. I don't like the browser extensions personally, but that's just personal preference. And then I also have a Yori mobile wallet. I think this is the easiest way to start staking Cardano. You can just download the app onto your iPhone or Android, and it's just a wallet. You can grab a receiving address, send your Cardano from the exchange to that receiving address, look up a stake pool and click delegate, and you're good to go. So the only thing about this SSD that has me concerned is that I am recording my footage while I am streaming. Oh, looks like we can move on to the next step here. But before we get to that, it's 120 gigabytes, so hopefully it doesn't fill up while I'm streaming, because this might be a long stream. It may be like a few hours, so we'll see. Hopefully things don't crash, but if things crash, that's probably why, is my SSD filled up. All right, let's move on to our next step here. The Cardano node is built. Copy the CLI into the directory. Let's make sure that the versions are the correct ones. 1.33 is what we're looking for. Now, that's as of right now. As Cardano nodes, as like the development of these nodes increase, this might be different for you. So it might be like 1.34, 1.35 or something like that. And the way that you can check to make sure that your version is correct is by just reviewing the GitHub page of IOHK to determine if you're completely up to date. Some of these too, like for people who are building nodes in a different way using CN tools, theirs would say 1.33.1. So keep in mind that that N number might be slightly different depending on what version of node that you are building. All right, where were we? Here we are. Oh, you can. Okay. Well, that's good to know, Llama. I will do that in the future. Clearly, I am an inexperienced streamer, but we're out here doing it. I want to make sure that I'm not typing in mainnet anywhere, or it should be testnet, because I could cause some issues later on. Let's actually go grab this testnet thing again, because I deleted it on accident. Here we go. Step around source. Bash RC. Okay, we're on step 4. So, this is if you were setting up a full stake pool, you would need to configure the block producer node and the air-gapped offline machine, but you don't need to do that when just setting up a relay node to mint tokens off of, or just like a relay node in general. So what we need to do here, we'll grab the relay node one from step 5, and we'll paste it in here. We're going to edit this because we don't need our block producer node's IP. What we can do is we can just delete this section And then we're left with this. And I believe, now I need to validate I think it's a .json file. Yeah, let's validate it. So I want to make sure that my spacing is all right. I'm kind of an amateur when it comes to like seeing that stuff off the bat. Looks like there's an error in that. Well, that's just like the node config stuff. So wait a minute. No, that's wrong too. Maybe I need a comma? Or I think this needs to go the other direction or something. Here, you know what? I'm going to find my account on the ADA forums because I know that I posted about this. Let's search J_Sal. Search it. Users. There I am. Come on. Why can't I go into your profile? There we go. Go into activity. I thought I posted about this. Where is it? So early on, I remember Alex posted it to me. Showing up in GView. I think that okay. Okay, here it is. Here's a valid one. I knew I could find it. You can just validate this string. Valid JSON, perfect. And now we can just paste that in there. I wonder if we'll validate the whole string here. Maybe not. Yeah, that's fine though, because we're just adding it to a file. It's not going to be a big deal. In fact, let's go ahead and do this. I actually want to exit out of some of these tabs if too many open. I am terrible about that. All right. So we're going to take this and we're just going to paste this entire thing in there, and then we're just going to edit the file after the fact. So now we need to go into Cardano mynode, mainnet topology. Here we go. And then we'll take that here. Just boom. Save it down. And just make sure it's valid again. For some reason it looks funky now. Yeah, it's valid. So what we're doing there is, instead of directing traffic from our relay node to a specific block producer node, we are just having the block or the relay node sync to the mainnet. So usually we would do both. But since we're not like creating a stake pool with this node, we can just have it sync to the mainnet. We don't need traffic directed somewhere. All right. What is next here? Figure the air gap, create the startup scripts. Okay, we're getting towards the end of building the node here. I'm really hoping I didn't miss changing a mainnet to a testnet. I think I did. I actually definitely did. Shoot. Okay, I missed it there. Let's see. Thanks for sticking around, Llama. I appreciate it. Mainnet config. Well, do I need to... Am I just going to run this thing on mainnet? Maybe I will, because I don't really feel... And it's like 10... I think it's like 5 or 10 Cardano. And I get most of it back. Like, I just pay the minimum fee to mint the tokens. Let's see. No, I don't really want to use a live wallet. I do want to use Testnet. Okay, so it says, as you work through the guide, replace every parameter of mainnet. But the only mainnet was in that. Okay, that's the only one that we would need to change, I believe. Okay. Well, let's change the topology, unless... What happens if I change this to testnet? Is that what I'm supposed to do? I actually have no idea. Let's just try it, see if it works. Alright, create the startup script. Does this have mainnet in it? No, but that does down there. Okay. Alright. Paste. So you guys, there's a ton of copy paste, and then like you run into an issue and you need to troubleshoot it. Sometimes it takes hours or even days to like figure out a problem. And it's super, super frustrating sometimes. But once you figure out that issue that you've been having, it is the most fulfilling feeling in the world. And that's why I love doing this type of stuff, like server administration stuff. It's just that challenge of like going deeper into the technology. Okay. So where was our last command? It was the enable Cardano node. Okay. So now we can start the node and follow through the logs to make sure everything's going okay. So the node is now started. I think I started it on the mainnet. Unless, wait a minute. The only thing, the modify env with the updated file locations. Is this even going to work? I'm not sure if I needed to change that actually. If I needed to change that topology file to testnet. Because it says I only need to replace the instances of, like, I think maybe you just run them on mainnet. Let's look at the, it says I changed the instances of, where is it? Come on, find it. Okay, I changed the instances of mainnet to testnet, but it's the dash dash mainnet. I don't see that anywhere. Yeah, it's not a dash dash. It's not a dash dash. I think I just run the relay on mainnet. I actually have no idea. Let's just see what the journals say. If the journals are saying that I'm doing something wrong, I'll figure it out. Let's see here, gap. Okay, wait a minute. Here it is. That's the command that we're looking for. Create another terminal window and follow in the journals. Failed with result exit code. Okay, that's why. Because I changed this to testnet. Close that one. Wait, what the? All right, there we go. I love Ubuntu, but sometimes. Oh, so what we were doing here, by the way, this is installing startup scripts. So that way, like when I turn on this computer, like with this SSD in it, it'll automatically boot up this node. So that helps with any like power outages or anything like that. If your power goes out, then it comes back on, then your node will automatically start up. All right, so what we're doing, we got to click the restart button. Let's see what the journals say. Jeez. Okay. I'm trying, Serge. Before I got into Cardano stake pools, I did have some server administration experience, but not like a ton. And this stuff required a lot of like dedication and commitment to figuring it out. And I'm glad that I did, because I feel like I'm much more knowledgeable in that respect now. Other than HTML, there's really no other code that I can develop from scratch. But I'm hoping to change that moving forward. I really want to dive as deep into this stuff as I can and be as knowledgeable as I can with any type of blockchain server administration or development. I'd love to be involved in the development of a smart contract on the Cardano blockchain one day. That would be really cool. Yeah, something's wrong. I don't know what's wrong, though. Let's see. Did I put in start block producing node? I put in the wrong... Oh, that's why. That was dumb. Okay. How did that even happen? Create the startup scripts. Okay. I gotta recreate the startup scripts now. I think I just put in the startup scripts of the block producer. See, like, if I was just starting out and that happened, it might take me, like, several hours to a day to figure out what I did wrong. And it's a testament to how far I've come in the last few months. Like, kind of being able to recognize some of these issues right off the bat. There's still some that stumped me for a while, but I'm a lot quicker at this stuff than I used to be. Okay, so now we got the right startup script. Let's see if restarting the node will fix our issue. Here we go. Okay, now it's starting to build. Okay, that's great. It looks like it's already synced. I don't know how that happens when I didn't even say that I'm on testnet. Like, I didn't even change any command to say that I was on testnet. But let's take a look at GLive and see. So this is GLive view. You build that through these commands on step 8. And it basically just tells you information about your node, what connections it has, if it's synced to the mainnet, how much memory it's using, like that sort of thing. Here we go. Okay. This is going to take a while to sync. I'm trying to figure out why, like, where I missed the testnet option for relay nodes. Because it said that I needed to... I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that either. Maybe you need to build the whole relay node on testnet. I don't know. If that's the case, yeah, you could definitely clone the node. You can clone anything that you create, Serge. In fact, I actually made a guide on how to clone your block producer node over at my website at mainblockchain.com/learn. And you can kind of see our other plans to build kind of a library of educational content for people to reference. And sometimes these links might link out to like the CoinCashew guide or link out to other stake pools guides. But this one is one that I created by myself, and it's just explaining how to clone and back up your block producer node, because that was something that I was trying to figure out at first. And once I eventually got that problem solved, I realized that there wasn't really a great guide on CoinCashew for cloning these things, at least as far as I could tell. So I wanted to create one to help other people be able to clone their block producer. Now, if any other pool operators are watching this, cloning your block producer node is a great way to create a redundancy in case like your main one goes out or something gets corrupted, like the drive degeneration, or like the power goes out of your primary location. You can like boot up the backup block producer in a secondary location. But you should not be running more than one block producer at once. It's bad for the blockchain, and the network may actually punish you for that type of behavior. Yeah, I mean, neither am I really, Serge. I just kind of like, I found the CoinCashew guide, and I wanted to give it a shot, and I just plugged away, and like whenever I ran into a problem, I would just troubleshoot. Oh, that's a good idea. I wonder if there's a way that I can like sell nodes at cost through our website if somebody just wanted to run a relay node somewhere. Yeah, that might be kind of fun. I don't know. It's fun just to like build your own though, like too. Like this really isn't that difficult stuff to do. If you're interested in like computers and technology and that type of stuff, you might have a blast like learning how to do this stuff, because I felt like I learned more than just how to create a Cardano node through this guide. Like I learned how to, I already knew how to like install Ubuntu on an SSD and boot from that, but like the stuff in the terminal and like guiding file paths and troubleshooting issues, I feel like I gained a lot of knowledge, not only about creating a Cardano node specifically, but about server administration and programming in general, just from learning how to do this stuff. All right, guys, I'm going to go get a glass of water. I'll be right back. And I won't forget to unmute this time. And I didn't forget to unmute. I said that I wasn't going to forget, and I forgot. What I was showing you guys is I have a Hannaford brand seltzer water. I don't know if you guys have Hannaford where you guys are at. It's sort of a Northeast US thing. It's a grocery store. And what I was saying to Serge I mean, something that we might be able to do is like wholesale SSDs that are programmed with like a relay node on them. Maybe like distribute those with like a few brief instructions on how to like port forward your router. Because there's things that like I could configure on the SSD. I could pretty much do the entire thing, but there's still like a few steps that you would need to take as the runner of that relay node in order to get it set up and connected with everything else. Specifically with port forwarding your router. In fact, I haven't done that with this, but I'm not sure if I need to mint tokens. I think I actually might. No, I don't, because I just need the outgoing connections. I don't need any incoming connections in order to mint tokens. So if I was like building a full relay node, I would need to port forward my router to like whatever port this node is configured to. I can show you guys. When you start the relay node, you can like choose the port in this, so I could change this and then save the file down and then restart the node. And it would start using that particular port on my router rather than port 6000. And then I could port forward this computer from my router to allow incoming and outgoing connections, or it would be external and internal connections on this particular PC for that specific port. So it would allow information to flow freely, and I'd start getting some incoming connections. But when minting NFTs or tokens, you don't need to do any port forwarding, stuff like that. You just need the outgoing connection. So there's really no need for, I guess, this content to move forward with the port forward. But that's something that I can discuss in later videos if you guys are interested in that. It's really not that difficult. Every router is a little bit different. But basically, you just log into your router. With my router, you find the machine that you want to open the port on, and then you select the port that you want to open it on, add it, and you're good to go. On some routers, it might be referred to as a firewall rather than port forwarding. It really just depends. But yeah, that's a good idea, Serge. Like, because I have a store. It's not on my current site. I should make it a drop down on the company for the store where you can like buy a computer. Like I was doing some computer builds in the past, and I'm going to continue doing them moving forward. But then also sell there like an SSD. In fact, let me go to the store. I think it's that's the URL. Yeah, here we go. So at the end here, I could just like have like an SSD that you could buy. That's like, if I'd sell it wholesale, like with the shipping costs and everything. And it would have like the Ubuntu flashed on it. And just like a brief instruction list on how to, like, I guess, get started and what the basic commands are. So that's a good idea, Serge. That's something that I'll look into, because something that I'm really trying to do on this channel and with like our website and all of our content is to, again, build that library of educational content and educational, I guess, products in the future to help people, like encourage people to participate in the Cardano blockchain, and support it. So back to how to get this on testnet. I'm not sure if there's a way that we can do that, actually. I'm not sure if there's a way that we can sync this on testnet, like this particular type of node. I don't know. Okay. Run the following commands to set your node.config on test. Oh, okay. I'm stupid. I've done this process so many times that I'm just like moving forward, like just plowing forward with what I usually do. But we can actually run this on testnet, it looks like. So let's try to figure that out. I'm gonna stop the node. Okay, so now that we've stopped the node, where were those commands again? It's not what we want. Okay. Here's what we need to do. Paste that in there. Okay, we don't need to do this though. The node config. Let me just make sure that the What is this? Where's the node config? Is it somewhere in here? Is it immutable? No, these are chunks, ledger, volatile. Mainnet config, is this it? Oh, maybe that's it. Well, hopefully I changed something. See if that works. Does Red Llama, Red, do you have your own Discord? I can't remember if I joined that or not. I know that I think we're both in that Crypto Kingdoms Discord and a few others. Like I'm in Red Fox's too. Yeah, I got to get more active in Discord. That's something I'm looking into doing. So, yeah, let's keep in touch, Serge. Sounds good. Let me see. Did this music stop? Oh, crap. Yeah, this rolled into another compilation, so I'm glad that it's the same guy so I don't get copyright striked. It's a little slow. Let's try the Heart of the Night. All right, so we've restarted it. Let's check G Live. Okay, that's not working. Get out of here. Oh my god. Get out of here, White Bat. Still going really slow. Maybe I messed up by starting to sync before I configured that. I feel like it should be moving faster than this, but let's see. Yeah, this should be moving way faster. Ugh. Hmm. Yeah, you know what? I went through the whole guide when I should have done this first. Amazing. All right. What are we going to do here? I think we're going to stop the node and then we're going to just rebuild everything from the beginning. I think that's what we're going to do. Yep. Let's do it. Clear this out. Journals can just be minimized. We'll use those again later. I think this will fix it if I go through all the commands again. I think there's only certain ones that I actually need to go through, but for good measure, we're just going to go through all of them. It shouldn't take long, like as long as it did originally, because we already have all this information downloaded onto our node here. What was the last command? I'm like freaking myself out thinking that I'm missing stuff. Let's do it again. I think we're going to make the actual token minting a tomorrow stream thing, or maybe early next week, because it's taken us long enough to set up this testnet relay. I told you guys there would be problems. I kind of, like, I know what I'm doing with the mainnet relays, but I've never done testnet before, so I think I'm just moving too fast here. Prepend, yeah. Okay, so that's all good. We need to do Cabal, right? We did, yeah, we just did the SH one. Set up successfully. All right, I think we're on to something now. I think we got to figure it out. Our problem was before, I believe, hypothetically, that we did not put this in, and this set our parameters moving forward to mainnet rather than setting it to testnet like we wanted. So I think now this should work on testnet, should be a way faster sync. Take a look here for a moment. See if we can troubleshoot the Daedalus wallet while we're figuring this out. So you download it, but it turns out in this weird... Let's see, downloads Daedalus right here. Okay, I guess these are instructions. Walk the args in order, processing options and placing non-option arguments at the end. When finished, arguments are in reverse order. What does that even mean? All right, well anyways. You know what we'll do in the meantime? Let's look up, watch the whiteboard video. If you guys haven't watched this before, with Hoskinson. I don't think IOHK is going to copy strike me. We'll see.
Hi, I'm Charles Hoskinson, Chief Executive Officer of Input Output Hong Kong, and I'm here today to talk a little bit about Cardano. So to understand Cardano, first you have to understand where Cardano came from. So let's talk about the first generation of cryptocurrencies. So first gen is Bitcoin. And the problem that Bitcoin was trying to solve was really, could we create a decentralized money? Could we create some sort of token that lives on some sort of decentralized blockchain maintained by people all around the world, and that token would be scarce and tradable. So when Alice and Bob want to send value to each other, there would be a mechanism for doing that that did not require a trusted third party, a trusted intermediary. Now this was kind of a really cool and interesting idea. It had very old roots starting from the 1980s and beyond, but Bitcoin was really the first to bring this all together. And it was a tremendously successful experiment. After just a few years, Bitcoin not only accrued thousands of users, but also started being worth real money. Tokens went from less than a penny to actually $1 to eventually $100. And right around that time period, we saw a huge influx of people saying, boy, this is really interesting. However, the issue is that the transaction between Alice and Bob has more than just the act of moving money associated with it. There's a story behind that transaction. There's terms and conditions. For example, what if Alice says to Bob, I'll give you the money if and only if you mow my lawn. I'll give you the money if and only if you repair my roof. This is a contract. This is the story. So first generation technology wasn't really well suited for this. Every single time someone wanted to make a change to Bitcoin, they'd have to build another cryptocurrency, or they'd have to figure out how to install some sort of cumbersome overlay protocol like Mastercoin or Colorcoins. So back in 2014, Vitalik Buterin, myself, and many others came together and we launched the first second generation blockchain. And this is Ethereum. Now, Ethereum is kind of like when JavaScript came to the web browser. We went from these static, simple pages that were not terribly functional, but at least they did something, to pages that were fully programmable. This then enabled us to build the Facebooks, the Googles, the Gmails, the experiences we've come to know and love. So Ethereum brought a programming language to a blockchain. So this programming language paradigm allowed smart contracts to be written to have customizable transactions. So when Alice sends that value to Bob, all those terms and conditions could then be embedded within the transaction, and it can be bespoke to her particular needs. Now this paradigm, like Bitcoin, also took off, and now Ethereum is among the largest of cryptocurrencies and has a huge developer community. Unfortunately, just like Bitcoin, we're starting to enter into a new realm. We're going into the third generation, where we've realized that Ethereum can't scale to millions of users, to billions of users. Ethereum doesn't really have a good developer experience. Ethereum and all cryptocurrencies have really a bad governance experience right now, where every single time there's a major disagreement, instead of finding a way to resolve it, we end up usually seeing things like Ethereum and Ethereum Classic, or things like Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. Furthermore, there are big sustainability problems in the space. Namely, after the ICO money is out for a project that's funded this way, or let's say the venture capital runs out, who will fund to grow the chain? Who will fund to actually build out an ecosystem? These are big open questions. So the third generation is all about three topics. One is scalability. Two is interoperability. And finally, there's this notion of sustainability. So the Cardano project is really our philosophy, our vision on how to solve each of these categories in a way that we feel it's going to inherit the best features and lessons learned from generation 1 and generation 2, but also add a lot of new concepts and technology to the space. And this project is built with some really good principles, namely two. First off, all the science that guides the solutions to these problems goes through some notion of peer review. So we go to conferences, we write proper scientific papers, we engage universities, and all the engineering, we have the goal to eventually implement as high assurance code. Which means the same types of techniques one would see with the Shinkansen or a jet engine, where when the failure of the system results in human death, we can apply those techniques to our protocols engineering and development so that we have a much higher belief in the quality of the code. This avoids events like the DAO, the parity hack, and other such things as we've seen in the space. So let's go through each of these.
So if you guys didn't get that, it's basically what he's saying is that what high assurance code is what code, like if a failure of the code resulted in a human death, like if there's a piece of like machinery that was acting on some type of program, and if that program failed, then it would result in somebody dying. That's basically the same concept that they're bringing over to Cardano, even though it wouldn't result in human death. They're trying to make their code as foolproof as possible, basically.
In more detail, starting with scalability. So scalability is kind of a loaded term, and it has a heck of a lot of meanings. But from a cryptocurrency's perspective, you can really think of scalability in 3 different perspectives. So one is scalability in terms of transactions per second. So you'll often hear people say, well, Bitcoin has 7 transactions per second, or Ethereum has 10 or 20 transactions per second, and this new protocol has 200 transactions or 300 transactions per second. There's this notion of how many transactions am I able to get into a block within some finite period of time. But it's not the only thing that you have to concern yourself with. Transactions carry data. And as you get more transactions, you require more network resources. So there's also this notion of bandwidth or network, where for a system to scale, if it's going to go to millions and billions of users, that system could require hundreds of megabytes to gigabytes per second of bandwidth to be able to support all the data flowing through it. This is very common in the enterprise world, but not quite where we need to be in the peer-to-peer world. And then finally, there's this notion of data scale. So blockchains store things, hopefully, forever. And so every time you put a transaction in, regardless if it's relevant or not, it ends up in the log. And as you have more and more transactions per second, you need more and more data. And as a consequence, blockchains will grow from megabytes to gigabytes to terabytes to petabytes and potentially even exabytes. Again, this is okay in the network world, but when we talk about a replicated system whose security model relies upon each node having a copy of the blockchain, this is not tractable for consumer hardware devices. So Cardano, what we're trying to do is figure out ways to solve these problems in a very elegant way. Namely that as we add people to the network, we naturally get more transactions per second, we get more network resources, and eventually we'll get more available overall data storage without compromising our security model. So let's talk a little bit about some of the innovations we've already brought, namely with the throughput. We've developed a peer-reviewed white paper for a provably secure proof-of-stake protocol. Called Ouroboros. And Ouroboros is among one of the most efficient consensus protocols in the cryptocurrency space. And it's the first to actually be proven secure in a very rigorous cryptographic way. The magic of Ouroboros is that it's been designed in a modular way. And it's been designed with future-proofing in its DNA. So, namely, how Ouroboros works is Ouroboros breaks the world into epochs.
Oh, I keep calling them epochs. I guess they're epochs. Interesting.
It takes a look at the distribution of tokens.
Those are 5 days.
And from a source of random numbers, it's able to hold on.
Epochs or epochs are 5-day periods of time on the Cardano blockchain between, they're basically like reset points. So if anything ever happens to the blockchain, they'll be able to just reset it to the beginning of the last epoch. There also determines when delegators get paid, like for blocks produced. So when you hit a block or your pool mints a block, you need to wait. It's either 1 or 2 epochs before you claim your rewards. Also, when you initially delegate to a pool, it takes 2 epochs in order to for your live stake to become actually active stake and be working for the benefit of that pool.
Election and create slot leaders. Now, these slot leaders functionally do the exact same thing that a miner would do in Bitcoin. So this is basically the same as a person who discovers a block, wins a block in Bitcoin. But the difference is that it doesn't require the extensive computational resources that Bitcoin requires to construct a block.
And that's really important because with proof of work blockchains, they're so energy intensive. And I believe proof of work and proof of stake both have their place in the crypto space, but there's some distinct differences. And with proof of work, it requires so much more energy to secure that blockchain or to secure transactions or process them. Whereas on Cardano, I'm using like a couple Dell Optiplexes in my basement that barely pull any electric, and they are basically the miners in a sense. They are the ones that are processing the transactions and minting the blocks, not GPUs that are pulling, thousands of kilowatts per second, which can, lead to a really high electric bill and, might not be as green or as efficient as a proof of stake blockchain like Cardano. The trade-off is that oftentimes like these proof of stake chains like Solana, for instance, can become very centralized. So it's important when looking at a proof of stake blockchain to make sure that it has the decentralization aspect that you want. And that's like very critical. And with proof of work, you don't tend to get the same level of centralization. It can happen, like on Ravencoin, we're getting a lot of hash rate centralization, unfortunately, but there's kind of different ways that you can mitigate that on proof of work versus proof of stake. So just when evaluating a proof of stake blockchain, make sure that it has the decentralization aspect to it, because personally, that's very important to me when investing in a chain, because that's the whole point of cryptocurrency is like a decentralized way to trade money, but also like build these transactions and these projects on top of, rather than participating in like a centralized fiat currency. You don't want to go from fiat to another centralized chain. Like, just because it's crypto doesn't mean that it's decentralized. Some of these networks do have really major problems with centralization. One that comes to mind that's very similar to Cardano is, what's it called? It's the one that all those communities, I think it's called like Algorand, yeah. So this one's super centralized. I do not believe in this crypto personally. It's a pretty cool project, but the problem is that all the servers, all the stake pools it's totally closed source code. So in order to participate in the inflation of that blockchain, you need to have an in with the development team. They have all these servers being run, these stake pools run at like private universities. They have like professors and like technology classes like building these servers and running them. But like a regular person like me or you isn't able to participate in the inflation of that blockchain other than just like holding the coin itself, because that's kind of the gimmick with this coin, is like you hold it and like you automatically get additional Algorand like every epoch or every epoch that occurs. You just like consistently get more, but it's really like the stake pool operators that are able to participate in that inflation the most, and that's totally closed source behind doors. We don't know what's happening with the security of this blockchain, but we do know that it's super centralized into the hands of a few private SPOs. So looks like we built the node successfully. Hopefully it's built on the testnet rather than the mainnet, so it doesn't take forever for us to sync it. But we're making progress here. Check the versions, 3.33 or 1.33. I think we're getting there, guys. I think we're going to have a testnet relay up in no time. Hopefully. think I already have this configured. Is there a configuration for testnet on the relay? I don't think so. Call relay node 1 throughout this guide. Repeat steps 1 through 3. Simply create relay node n and adapt the guide. Okay. Don't need an IP. Node config topology.json. Okay. Let's go ahead and just repeat this process just for good measure. Then we'll go back in here. We will. Here it is. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, we don't need the block producer. Oh, that's wrong. Let me find that thread again. Jesus. It's just there. Maybe I can go into history. Here it is. Okay, just making sure that those both say mainnet. All right, now let's give it a whirl. Although, wait, do we need to? I think we might need to put in the. Let's do the startup scripts again. Again, just for good measure. Just for good measure. I don't know why I love doing this stuff so much, but I do. All right, restart the node. Let's check the journals. Failed with the result exit code. Wait. It keeps failing. Why is it failing? Cardano-node service. It's resulting in failure. Okay, what is going on? Cardano node service. Let's just check. Does G Live show anything? Yeah, it's not gonna work. Oh Jesus. Cardano-node service. Main process exited, code exited, system failure. I think it's something to do with the actual node. Local bin. Did I do this right? I thought I definitely did this right. I mean, I guess let's try just running it without a... No, that's not going to work. It's nothing to do with the topology, I don't think. Wait a minute. What What is this? Do I need to adjust a file path? This wasn't here before. I think this is the testnet node. Let me see. Cardano-node service. Let's see if anybody else has had this issue. So what I usually do when I have a problem that I don't know how to solve, just go to the forums, and this Alex D 1985 is so helpful. I mean, this guy's probably helped hundreds of people set up stake pools that wouldn't have been able to otherwise. Well, I think we'll call it for today. And then when we get on next time, I'm going to have a fresh flash of LTS. And I'm going to start building it from scratch using the proper testnet code and see what happens at that point. If we run into the same issue, we'll just troubleshoot it from there. But I have a feeling it has something to do with me building that mainnet node before we built the testnet node on top of it. So if I get a fresh flash, I do it the right way the first time, I think that we'll be in business. But as for right now, it's just we're having too many issues with it. I know we're going to be able to get the job done, but I think that's going to be a project for early next week. So hope you guys enjoyed watching me troubleshoot through some of these things. If you enjoy this content, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye.